Hello, friends. How are you? How's today? How's life? How's your world? Mine is exhausting, but in like the cutest way possible. A tiny little human that's super cute. Our friend Jeremy asked a question that I thought was interesting to talk about, especially considering we've been talking about the baby this week and just what it's like having a kid and 46 years old. Um, he said yep. This is exhaustion. This is me not even being able to read. We have a several year gap between numbers 2 and 3, and it seemed like the tech changed a bit. Car seat, stroller, whatever wise. I bet you notice this even more. Also, you realize you don't need as much stuff either. Yeah, so 16 years between my middle child and this child. Everything changed, and I have to relearn all of it. On top of that, my wife is nursing, which never dealt with before. So I have to learn all of that. And I have to learn there's different ways of treating nursing babies versus non-nursing babies. Like when I'm awake at night with the baby. So I've been going to bed at 8 p.m. and getting up around 2:30. And then I take care of the baby until my wife wakes up. Which means there's probably a feeding or two in there where I need to feed the baby. She's been pumping. We have that in the freezer. I can thaw it out. I can feed the baby. But when you feed a baby from a bottle that's used to expressing a nipple, you need to kind of do it in a way that doesn't immediately provide them milk. You don't want them to get used to the bottle, right? Or to prefer the bottle. So you have to kind of make them work for it with the bottle. I didn't know this. And so there's this whole method of like tilting the bottle back so they're not getting much, and then slowly bringing it. There's a whole process to that that I didn't know about. There's a whole bunch of equipment that needs cleaned and whatever sanitized that I didn't even think about. As far as collection goes. And there's specialty like brasiers and stuff that she can wear that she can use to quickly feed. There's all kinds of nonsense. Not nonsense. That's not what I mean to say. Everything changed. Literally, none of it is the same. Yet. So let me think of the biggest one. The biggest one is the bottles. I think for both of my kids, we still had the tubes that had plastic bags in them. And they were really convenient because you just threw the plastic bag away, boiled and washed the nipples, and you were ready to go. You didn't have to clean bottles and that kind of stuff. I think with my oldest, we started on bottles and then found those plastic bags, and then we had those through to my youngest. Those aren't a thing anymore. They're dangerous, I guess. We just don't use them. I thought they were always great because you could get all the air out, so the baby's not sucking air. Now we have vented nipples so that they don't suck air, and bottles that are specially designed. I mean, we had those before. They were called colic bottles, but now they have bottles that have vents on them so that the babies aren't sucking air and there's not negative pressure inside the bottle trying to counteract them, whatever. So there's a whole bunch of that technology that changed. Car seats completely changed. Now there's stages and whatever. To your second point, though, of knowing, what'd you say? The second point was, I bet you notice this even more. Also, you realize you don't need as much stuff either. I realize that. My wife's never had a kid. She has no idea what that's like. And I decided to treat this like our first baby and let her experience this is her baby. She can do whatever she wants. If she wants to buy everything, fine. We'll have everything. And we currently do. We have it all. We have so much stuff that I wouldn't have purchased half the stuff we purchased. It's just not necessary at this point. It's stuff that might be necessary down the road, but there's no need to have it for a year. There's no need to have it for 6 months. I would have bought it incrementally as needed, not try to front load all of it. Now, to be fair, we had a pretty big family and a pretty big baby list, and most of it got bought for us. But my house is now full of stuff that is temporary at best. That's okay. It's no harm, no foul, right? For instance, I think we probably have 15 newborn sleepers. She's almost outgrown them already. She gained a pound last week. Like, she's not going to be wearing those for another month. We don't need 15 of them, but whatever. No big deal. However, my wife has bought some things that I thought were outrageous, but I see the benefit. She bought a bottle washer, and I don't mean like a thing at a bar where you no, this thing is like a miniature washing machine. It's about the size of an air fryer, maybe a little bigger. Microwave turn on its side. It's literally a washing machine. It has a little spinny thing in the bottom and everything. Put a tank of purified water on it and one tablet, and it washes and sanitizes and heat sanitizes and dries all of the stuff in there. To me, a little bit excessive. It's really not hard to take a brush and scrub a bottle, boil a nipple. Like, I would have just done that. But I also didn't consider the pumps that she bought. She bought 2 pumps, or a set of pumps that you can kind of wear in your bra, and it just works. There, you take these things apart, and there's like all these little pieces that all have to be washed and sanitized every time you use the pumps. That washing station has been phenomenal for that, because I only use 1 bottle a day. You know, she's only eating out of the bottle at night once, but all of that other stuff also needs washed and sanitized. So it's super simple. Throw it in that thing, let it do its job. An hour later, you have washed, sanitized. It keeps them safe and sanitized. It's like a magnetic lid, and the fan runs every now and then to make sure, you know, it stays dry in there and nothing gets moldy or whatever. It's actually phenomenal. I would have never bought that thing. But you know, we could have got, if it was me, a couple blankets, a couple sleepers, and some diapers, we'd have got by, and then the rest would have just made sense as we needed it, or as we thought of it. But I'm also the kind of person that, like, you see this isn't because, this is because this is just how it is, right? These tools don't have a home. I can make them a home, but I haven't needed the bench space, so they can just sit there. I just exist in a place where if it's working, I don't even really think about improving the situation. My wife does. And so all of these little things that she's done has improved. The one thing I will say, though, I said this to my kid the other day, and I kind of felt bad saying it, but there were 4 years between my oldest and my middle child. And I feel like 16 years is a more age-appropriate gap than 4 years. I think 4 years is way too long. It was a time when my 4-year-old thought she was going to have a playmate. My 4-year-old realized that there's this infant that's going to take years before she could actually play with her, and they were combative most of their lives. They've got, you know, since the divorce, they've come together much stronger than they ever had been. But my youngest always wanted to walk in my oldest shadow. My oldest wanted nothing to do with that. And they were just constantly, you know, fighting. They were just not friends for most of the, you know, their young lives. Whereas now, you know, my 21-year-old, she's almost 21, is like stupid excited to hold the baby, to watch the baby, to, you know, spend time with the baby. The 16-year-old, not so much. I've only seen her once in 2 weeks, and that's, you know, that's okay. If she needs time, she needs time, and it'll be fine. But I think that both of them, this age gap is more appropriate because there's no fighting, there's no jealousy issues or anything like that. You know, it's a baby and basically 2 adults at this point. I think that's going to be fine. Built-in babysitting, I don't know, maybe. In a few years or something, but right now with nursing, there's really no babysitting with nursing. You know, we could teach somebody to thaw milk and all that stuff, but we can't guarantee, you know, we're not going to do that. So we're kind of in it 100% until either she stops nursing or, you know, we switch to formula or whatever. We're not sure what we're doing yet. We're just kind of playing it as we go. But it's been fun. It's been a fun experience. I think it's brought Malia and I a little closer because we have to share so much of this stuff. And she saw a meme the other day that just hits so true. And that is that parenthood is being in a relationship where you have to ask if it's okay to go to the bathroom. And it's so true. Like, we're both, hey, is it okay if I go on my walk? Is it okay if I record the show? Is it okay if I go to the bathroom? Because, you know, you never know. The other person might be suffering and might need something. And if you don't ask, they're not going to say anything because they don't want to hurt your feeling. Like, we're constantly checking in. And it's kind of cute, honestly. Whatever. Okay. Thank you for watching. Thank you for asking questions. I very much appreciate it. Ask more questions. I'll get to them next week. This weekend, I'm hoping to sleep. We shall see. Thank you for watching. Please like the video if you haven't done so. And please subscribe if you're new here. I very much appreciate it. I'll see you again Monday. Today's 1000 plus little things happy, successful people do differently. We have been learning 20 things to stop doing to others. We are on number 19. Stop being dramatic. Stay out of other people's drama and don't needlessly create your own. This kind of goes hand in hand with stop making mountains out of molehills from yesterday. Again, drama, professional victims are dramatic. Stop it. It's just weird. Like, your life isn't that traumatic and that all the time. You can have trauma, don't get me wrong. But when it's appropriate.